Imagine standing at the edge of Hollywood, watching the skyline fade into the night, and knowing that just a few decades ago, Jason Statham was nowhere near this world of luxury and fame. Once a street vendor's son, he had no safety net, no connections, and no clear path to success. The man who now owns multi-million-dollar estates and a garage filled with some of the world's rarest cars was once struggling to put food on the table. But how did he get here? How did he transform from an underdog British diver to one of the most bankable action stars in the world? His journey isn't a typical overnight success story. It's a tale of relentless hustle, calculated risks, and a bit of luck in the right place at the right time. With a net worth surpassing $90 million in 2025, he has built an empire beyond just action-packed film. But when the cameras stop rolling, what does his real life look like? What kind of homes does he live in? What cars does he drive? And most importantly, how does Jason Statham, a man known for high-speed chases and ruthless fight sequences, actually spend his fortune? Today, we pull back the curtain on his high-stakes journey, his most prized assets, and the luxurious lifestyle that sets him apart from the rest. Stay till the end, because you won't believe what he's been hiding behind the scenes. In the world of Hollywood, it's easy to assume that every big-name actor was destined for fame from the start. That couldn't be further from the truth for Jason Statham. Born on July 26, 1967, in Shirebrook, Derbyshire, England, Jason wasn't raised in luxury. His father, Barry, was a street vendor who sold knockoff jewelry and perfumes to make ends meet. His mother, Eileen, was a dancer, but there was nothing glamorous about their life. Money was always tight, and Jason grew up knowing that if he wanted something, he'd have to fight for it. Unlike many actors, Jason didn't spend his teenage years dreaming about Hollywood. His passion was sports, especially diving. He trained tirelessly, eventually earning a spot on the British national diving team. For over a decade, he competed on international stages, even making it to the World Championships. But despite his talent, diving wasn't a career that paid the bills. He wasn't bringing in big sponsorship deals or making a name for himself the way Olympians do today. Instead, he was barely scraping by. And then came reality. Years of training, countless hours spent perfecting every dive. Yet he had little to show for it. He wasn't a household name. He wasn't getting rich. And at 25, he was staring at a future where his biggest achievement would be something most people wouldn't even remember. Desperate for money, he did what he had to do. He started working the streets of London, just like his father, selling fake watches, counterfeit jewelry, whatever could bring in a few extra pounds. It wasn't glamorous, but it kept food on the table. And here's where things took an unexpected turn. One day, while selling goods in London, Jason caught the attention of a talent scout for a fashion brand called French Connection. He had the rugged, chiseled look they were searching for. And just like that, he went from hustling on the streets to modeling high-end clothing. But modeling wasn't the dream either. He knew he wanted more, something bigger. Then came the call that changed everything. Director Guy Ritchie, who was working on a low-budget British crime film, needed someone to play a streetwise con man. Someone who could talk fast, think faster, and wasn't afraid to look rough around the edges. Someone, in short, like Jason Statham. Ritchie cast him in Lock, Stock and Two Smoking Barrels, a gritty crime thriller that would go on to become a cult classic. Jason was paid almost nothing for the role, just a few £1,000s. But it didn't matter. This wasn't about the money. This was about getting a foot in the door. And he kicked that door wide open. The movie was a hit. Jason's performance stood out, and soon after he was cast in another Ritchie film, Snatch, alongside Brad Pitt. This time, he was paid a little more. But more importantly, people in the industry were starting to notice him. He wasn't just some guy who got lucky. He had something special. But even then, Hollywood wasn't calling. He wasn't an A-lister. He was still just another British actor trying to make it in a cutthroat business. That all changed in 2002 when he landed the role that would define his career, Frank Martin, in The Transporter. For the first time, Jason wasn't playing a side character. He wasn't the guy in the background. He was the lead, the face of a blockbuster. And this time, the paycheck was real. From street hustler to high-fashion model, From struggling athlete to action star, Jason's journey wasn't smooth, and it definitely wasn't easy. But one thing was clear: once he got his shot, he never looked back. Jason Statham wasn't supposed to be a Hollywood star. He had no connections, no formal training, and no big studio backing him. But what he did have was something that couldn't be taught: grit, confidence, and an ability to own the screen without even trying. His big break came in 1998 when Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels hit theaters. At the time, he wasn't some big-name actor. He was just a guy playing a small-time hustler, a role that felt almost too real, given his own past selling goods on the streets of London. But that's exactly why it worked. He wasn't acting, he was being himself, and audiences could feel it. The film became a cult hit, turning Guy Ritchie into one of the hottest new directors in the industry. Jason, on the other hand, didn't become an overnight superstar, but he did get noticed. His next major film, Snatch, 2000, put him alongside Brad Pitt, Benicio del Toro, and other A-listers. This time, he played Turkish, a fast-talking boxing promoter who was always one step away from disaster. Snatch was bigger than Lock, Stock, and Jason's paycheck reflected that. Instead of a few £1,000s, he was now earning six figures. Still, he wasn't a leading man. Hollywood wasn't calling just yet. Then, in 2002, everything changed. A small but action-packed movie called The Transporter was in the works, and producers needed someone tough, believable, and physically capable of handling intense fight sequences. Jason fit the bill perfectly. Unlike other actors who relied on stunt doubles, he insisted on doing his own stunts. That decision set him apart. The Transporter was a hit. It wasn't a massive box office juggernaut, but it made enough money to turn Jason into a legitimate action star. For the first time, he was the face of a franchise, and Hollywood started paying attention. The sequels, Transporter 2, 2005, and Transporter 3, 2008, cemented his place as the go-to guy for high-speed chases and brutal fight scenes. He wasn't just an actor anymore, he was a brand. By this point, Jason's earnings had skyrocketed. He went from making a few $1,000s to earning over $750,000 per film, and with each new movie, his paycheck kept climbing. But with success came expectations. Hollywood didn't see him as a versatile actor. They saw him as the action guy. If a film needed a rugged, no-nonsense lead who could throw a punch and walk away without looking back, Jason was the man for the job. That worked in his favor. Until it didn't. Not every movie was a hit. Films like Revolver, 2005, and War, 2007, underperformed at the box office, making critics question whether Jason could carry a film outside of the Transporter series. The pressure was mounting. If he wanted to stay on top, he needed something big. Then came The Expendable, 2010. Sylvester Stallone was assembling an all-star cast of action legends: Arnold Schwarzenegger, Bruce Willis, Jet Li, and of course, Stallone himself. Jason was one of the younger stars in the mix, but he held his own. The film was a massive success, earning over $270 million worldwide. Jason wasn't just surviving in Hollywood, he was dominating. By now, his standard salary had climbed into the millions. He was no longer just taking roles to stay relevant. He was picking and choosing projects that fit his brand. Then came Fast and Furious 6, 2013. At the very end of the film, in a surprise twist, Jason appeared as Deckard Shaw, a role that would change everything for him. It was just a short cameo, but it sent fans into a frenzy. Universal Studios had found their next big villain, and they weren't going to let him go. In Furious 7, 2015, he stepped fully into the role, facing off against Vin Diesel, Dwayne Johnson, and the rest of the franchise's biggest stars. The movie grossed over $1.5 billion, making it one of the highest-grossing films of all time. And Jason? He was now an A-lister, pulling in over $10 million per film. By the time Hobbs & Shaw, 2019, rolled around, a spin-off where he co-starred with Dwayne Johnson, he was no longer just the tough guy on the side. He was a leading man, standing shoulder to shoulder with some of the biggest stars in the industry. From selling watches on the streets of London to headlining billion-dollar franchises, Jason Statham had done the impossible. He had carved out his own lane, built his own brand, and become one of the most bankable actors in the world. But success in Hollywood is never guaranteed. What happened next would test everything he had built. Jason Statham has built a reputation as one of Hollywood's toughest action stars. But when he's not on set taking down bad guys, he's living a life that most people can only dream of. With an estimated net worth of over $90 million in 2025, Statham has turned his years of hard work into a personal empire of luxury. Unlike many celebrities who flaunt their wealth, Statham keeps his life mostly private. But the things he owns, they speak for themselves. From stunning multi-million-dollar mansions to a jaw-dropping car collection filled with some of the rarest machines on the planet, his lifestyle is nothing short of elite. One of Statham's most prized properties is his $13 million Beverly Hills mansion, tucked away in a quiet, exclusive neighborhood where privacy is worth just as much as the home itself. This is no ordinary house. It's a 7,000 square foot fortress of modern luxury, built with floor-to-ceiling glass walls, sleek stone finishes, and an open concept design that brings in endless natural light. Step inside, and you'll find a home that balances elegance with masculinity. A massive living room with high ceilings and a fireplace that stretches from the floor to the roof. A sleek, custom-built chef's kitchen with the finest appliances money can buy. And a master bedroom that looks like it belongs in a five-star resort, complete with a spa-style bathroom and a private terrace overlooking the hills of Los Angeles. But it's not just the interiors that make this place special. The backyard is where Statham's love for entertainment really shines. A massive infinity pool sits at the edge of the property, reflecting the city lights at night. There's an outdoor lounge, a private gym, and even a hidden underground wine cellar that holds some of the rarest bottles from around the world. And if you think that's impressive, his $19 million Malibu beach house might be even better. Perched on the California coastline, this property offers something that money can't buy: direct access to a private beach. The house itself is designed with a minimalist aesthetic, featuring oak floors, neutral tones, and oversized glass doors that slide open to let in the ocean breeze. The real highlight, though, the massive rooftop deck, where Jason can sit back and enjoy the sunset over the Pacific in total peace. If there's one thing Jason Statham loves, just as much as action movies, it's cars. He's not the kind of guy who just buys expensive vehicles for the sake of it. He actually drives them. And his collection isn't about quantity, it's about quality. One of the most iconic cars in his garage is the McLaren Senna, a hypercar that costs around $1.5 million. With its aggressive design, exposed carbon fiber body, and a twin-turbo V8 that produces 789 horsepower, this machine is built for speed. Statham has been spotted taking it for spins around Los Angeles, proving that he's not just a collector, he's a driver. Then there's his Ferrari F12 Berlinetta, another monster on wheels. This car, worth over $320,000, is powered by a 6.3-liter V12 engine that can launch it from 0 to 60 miles per hour in just 3.1 seconds. The sound alone is enough to turn heads, and it's a perfect fit for someone who thrives on adrenaline. Of course, no high-end collection is complete without a few Aston Martins, and Statham has a deep connection with the brand. One of his most prized possessions is the Aston Martin DBS Volante, a sleek, ultra-luxurious convertible that delivers both performance and style. Price tag? Around $280,000. But Statham's collection isn't just about speed. He also owns a Rolls-Royce Phantom, a symbol of pure elegance and class, worth over $450,000. This car is all about comfort, featuring handcrafted interiors, massaging seats, and a starlit ceiling that makes every drive feel like a dream. And then there's his Audi RS6 Avant, a high-performance station wagon that's anything but ordinary. It's the perfect mix of power and practicality, packing a 591 horsepower twin-turbo V8 under the hood while still having enough space for a grocery run, if Statham ever does one himself. When Jason Statham needs to travel, he doesn't do it like the rest of us. No commercial flights, no long security line. He flies private. Though he hasn't gone all in on owning his own jet like some other A-listers, he frequently charters private jets for his global travels, ensuring he moves in comfort and on his own schedule. And when he's not in the air, he's out on the water. Statham has been spotted aboard some of the world's most luxurious yachts, from the $20 million Nirvana super yacht to other high-end vessels that offer 5-star accommodations at sea. These yachts come with everything: hot tubs, bars, private chefs, and even movie theaters, making them the ultimate getaway from the public eye. But Statham's spending habits aren't just about living large. He's known for investing wisely, putting his money into real estate, business ventures, and other high-value assets that ensure his fortune keeps growing. While many celebrities blow through their wealth, Statham plays the long game, securing properties and deals that will hold their value for decades. Unlike some Hollywood actors who let their wealth define them, Jason Statham stays true to his roots. He enjoys the finer things in life, but he doesn't waste money on nonsense. He buys cars he actually drives. He owns homes that offer privacy and comfort rather than just flashy status symbols. And while he has all the luxuries of an A-list star, he keeps his personal life low-key and drama-free. At the end of the day, Statham's lifestyle is exactly what you'd expect from a man who built his career by doing things his own way. He's not trying to impress anyone. He's just living life on his own terms. And when you've built a $90 million empire from scratch, that's exactly the way it should be. Jason Statham might be one of Hollywood's biggest action stars, but off-screen, he's a completely different man. He isn't the type to chase headlines or live for the spotlight. Instead, he prefers a quiet, drama-free life, spending time with the people who matter most to him. Since 2010, Statham has been in a relationship with Rosie Huntington-Whiteley, a British supermodel and actress known for her work with Victoria's Secret and her role in Transformers: Dark of the Moon. Unlike many Hollywood couples, they've kept their relationship private, avoiding unnecessary public attention. In 2016, the couple got engaged, but they've never been in a rush to walk down the aisle. For them, a wedding isn't what defines their commitment. It's the life they've built together. In 2017, they welcomed their first child, a son named Jack Oscar Statham. Becoming a father changed Jason's world. While he had spent most of his life focused on his career, everything shifted when Jack was born. He became more selective about his projects, choosing roles that wouldn't keep him away from home for too long. Then, in 2022, their family grew again with the birth of their daughter, Isabella James Statham. Now, as a father of two, Jason prioritizes his time differently. While he still loves making action films, nothing compares to spending time at home with his kids. Jason grew up in a working-class family, and despite his massive success, he's never forgotten his roots. His father, Barry Statham, was a street vendor, and his mother, Eileen, was a dancer. They weren't rich, but they were hardworking, and that work ethic shaped Jason into the man he is today. Even after reaching fame, Jason has remained close to his parents. He often brings them to his movie premieres, showing that family is still a big part of his life. Unlike many celebrities who drift away from their upbringing, Jason has always been proud of where he came from. Most actors fake it when it comes to action sequences, but not Jason. What you see on screen is real. He isn't just acting like he knows how to fight, he actually does. Statham has spent years training in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, kickboxing, and Wing Chun Kung Fu. He's not just doing it for the movies, it's a part of his daily life. Whether he's at home or traveling, he always finds time to train. Martial arts isn't just about fitness for him, it's about discipline, focus, and staying sharp. He's even trained with some of the best fighters in the world, including professional MMA athletes. That's why his fight scenes in movies look so intense, because they're based on real techniques, not just choreographed moves. If there's one thing that gets Jason just as excited as martial arts, It's cars. He's a true petrolhead, meaning he doesn't just buy expensive cars, he actually understands them. Unlike some celebrities who collect cars just to show them off, Jason actually drives them, often taking them to the track. He's been spotted pushing his McLaren Senna and Ferrari F12 Berlinetta to their limits, proving that he's just as fearless behind the wheel in real life as he is in the movies. His passion for cars isn't just for fun, it's also influenced his career. When he starred in The Transporter, he didn't need a stunt driver for most of the car scenes. He handled them himself. His ability to perform high-speed maneuvers made his action films even more intense and realistic. Statham isn't the kind of guy who enjoys sitting still. When he's not filming or training, he's looking for his next adrenaline rush. One of his favorite hobbies is freediving, which is basically diving deep underwater without an oxygen tank. It's dangerous, takes incredible control, and requires an insane amount of lung capacity. But Jason thrives on that kind of challenge. He also enjoys rock climbing, jet skiing, and skydiving, always looking for new ways to push himself. Even in his downtime, he refuses to live a boring life. For all his fame and wealth, Jason Statham isn't flashy. He doesn't live for social media, he doesn't chase attention, and he doesn't try to impress anyone. His life is about family, discipline, and doing what he loves. And that's what makes him different from so many others in Hollywood. He didn't just become an action star, he is one, both on and off the screen. Jason Statham's story isn't one of luck. It's not about being in the right place at the right time, or having someone pull strings for him. His journey is about grit, resilience, and the relentless drive to prove himself, even when the odds were stacked against him. He wasn't born into wealth. He didn't have Hollywood connections. He didn't even start out as an actor. He was just a kid from a small English town, raised by a working-class family, selling goods on the streets to survive. He spent years chasing a dream in diving, only to realize it would never give him the life he wanted. When that door closed, he didn't sit around waiting for another to open. He found a way to kick one down. From that first low-budget film with Guy Ritchie to becoming the face of billion-dollar franchise, Jason built his career step by step, one fight scene at a time. He wasn't just handed the role of an action hero, he became one through years of training, discipline, and sheer determination. And now, with a net worth of over $90 million, living in mansions that overlook the ocean and driving some of the fastest cars in the world, he's earned every single bit of his success. But what makes him different from so many other stars is that he never forgot where he came from. He never lost the mindset of a fighter. Even today, he doesn't act like a celebrity. He doesn't spend his time showing off on social media. He isn't chasing awards or trying to impress critics. He does what he's always done: focus on his craft, train like an athlete, and live life on his own terms. And that's exactly why he's still at the top. After decades in the industry, Jason Statham is still one of the most bankable action stars in the world. Audiences know that when his name is on a film, it's not just going to be another over-the-top CGI spectacle. It's going to be real action, real stunts, and real intensity. His journey from a struggling diver to a Hollywood icon is proof that success isn't just about talent. It's about hard work, patience, and refusing to give up. So, what's next for Jason Statham? Will he slow down, step away from the spotlight, and enjoy his wealth? Not likely. If there's one thing we know about him, it's that he doesn't stop. Whether it's on screen or in real life, Jason Statham is always looking for the next challenge. And if his past has taught us anything, it's that he'll always find a way to come out on top. If you enjoyed this deep dive into Jason Statham's incredible journey, make sure to subscribe for more exclusive insights into the lives of the world's most fascinating celebrities.